Welcome to the Maria Heller Show, the Internet's original podcast. Since the year 2000, always ahead of the curve, always on your side. A true warrior for truth and justice, Meria and her guests leave nothing out, and no one is off limits. There is only one truth, the rest is lies. Sit back, enjoy the education with a true daughter of Mother Earth. Sharp New York wit, spiritual knowing, and a very dry sense of humor, Meria will dissect the news and lies to make it all palatable. Education is power. Meria delivers rapid-fire truth like no one else can. Here she is, the mouth that roars, the legendary Meria Heller.
Good morning, world. Meria here, alive and kicking. Welcome to Awaken with Meria and Monnica. And today we take a break from the news and we talk about things that actually have value to your life. So I want to say good morning to Monnica Sepulveda. Good morning, Monnica.
Hey, Meria. It's the M&Ms again.
M&Ms for sure. Madness
with
and
nuts.
mayhem. Madness and mayhem.
And we're not plain either. We're with nuts, right? M&Ms with nuts.
With nuts for
so
sure.
We like to joke around, but we are very serious. Meria, you're absolutely right. You know, a lot of times we hear the news and people go into a very depressed state. They get affected by it and they don't know how to get out of it. So one of the things that you and I do very well together is that we give solutions and we talk about different metaphysical topics and things that people can do to help themselves, because I think that rather than reacting, we have to take back our power.
Oh, absolutely. You know, one of the earliest books I ever read, which came to me almost magically by Sun Bear, was called The Path of Power. And it literally fell off a shelf in a bookstore right into my hand, and I had never even heard of him before.
He probably did it.
Well, it's interesting because when I did get to meet up with him, he did say that he called every one of us to him.
Oh, yeah, that's so cool.
It was quite the story because I bought the book. I was going down to Florida to visit my sisters, and I put the book away before I left. I hadn't even opened it. And we went to this little spiritual town in Florida called Casadega, and sure enough, it's like a little town where all the spiritualists give readings and they have jewelry and all kinds of stuff like that. And the one necklace that caught my attention was this gorgeous crystal necklace with different color crystals throughout it. And, and it came with a little legend. You know, they fold up a piece of paper inside the little pouch it comes in. And when I looked at it, it said, based on The Medicine Wheel by Sun Bear.
Oh, my gosh.
So when I got home, because I said to myself, wait a minute, isn't this the guy whose book I just bought and didn't even open? So when I got home, it was really crazy because when I looked, indeed, it was the same person. And then the story got even better because I heard he was coming to New York, upstate New York, in a little town called Lilydale. And when I pulled up there with my girlfriend, we did the first 3-day weekend with him. They had a sign, welcome to Casadega. So here it was the winter or the summer retreat for the spiritualist in Florida where I'd just been. And there I am at another little Casadega. And I will tell you this, that experience totally changed my life.
Well, that's why it happens like that. People ask me, boy, I've had this amazing experience. I said, yes, it's supposed to get your attention because it's guiding you to where you need to go next. That's the beauty of this planet, is that it's always guiding us, but people don't listen. But you're aware enough to say, no, there's no coincidence here. You know, Meria, what a great story.
I know, it was a great story, and I was like all thrilled. And honestly, you know, having spent most of my life in organized religion, I mean, I like to call it disorganized religion. When I walked away from the religion I was raised in, I started looking at all other religions. And I just couldn't find anything that made any sense to me. None of it made sense. And I remember when we got to Lilydale, the second day we were there, Sun Bear was constructing a medicine wheel. When I saw that medicine wheel, my entire body started shaking. And I
Doesn't it feel like this looks like a past life, Meria?
Oh, absolutely. And I just started crying and I said to myself, I'm home. I had finally found what it had taken me 40 years to find.
Wow.
And that changed my whole life.
That's a long time.
I know, that changed my whole life. And ever since then, God, that was 1988, I've been teaching the medicine wheel. And even when I do my news shows, everything I do and think and say is based on that philosophy.
I love it. I love it.
You know?
Yeah, my story is different than yours, but I'll tell you, it is, because mine's weird.
Aren't they all?
I was raised Catholic.
I'm sorry.
Right? As a typical Latina woman from California, we're Catholics. And I started teaching my seminars at age 19, and I used to teach them in homes. And 3 nuns and a Mother Superior showed up in one of my classes from the church that I used to go to, St. Justin's in Santa Clara. I'm from Silicon Valley. And after they took my seminar, they said, you need to quit the Catholic Church because you've outgrown it.
Right.
So the Mother Superior gave me permission to leave, and the 3 nuns said, yeah, we agree, you need to move on. And so I left.
Well, at least you left with permission.
And what happened is I ended up going to the science of the mind, which is like unity, which is metaphysical. And that's when I found home. And my minister was the stepfather who raised Mickey Dolenz from the Monkees. And remember that group, the Monkees?
Oh, yeah.
And Mickey used to come in all the time for, and so I got a chance to really get to know him and stuff because I went there for years. And this is where I learned my quotation from Dr. Robert Scott, something great and wonderful is happening today, and I am a part of it. To this day, I still say it every morning. And then later on, I met Davy Jones from the Monkees. And I said, did you ever know Dr. Robert Scott? He goes, something great and wonderful is happening today, and I am a part of it. We started cracking up. True story.
That's way cool. Way cool. Well, I wouldn't say my meetup with Sunbear was my introduction to all things metaphysical, but I will tell you it was the U-turn I had been looking for.
Yes.
And it changed my entire life. I mean,
I always tell people that, Meria, asking you shall receive. You're looking for something, the universe will give you answers, and it'll come through in strange ways. And get ready because it's a wonderful ride, and it's a trip. There's highs and lows, but the highs, you have one high. If you have 10 lows, you have one high. It's kind of like when you play golf. You get one hole in one, and the rest of the day shitty. Who cares?
Right.
You know?
Right, at least you could say, hey, I aced that. I think
that's a great story, Meria.
Yes, it is. And I'll tell you what, there's never a time that I am not honoring my teacher. There's never a time I don't mention his prophecies, which I hate to say it, are all coming true. His love for all living things. You know, I'm looking at those fires in California, and it's breaking my heart. I drove around, actually not far from where I live this weekend with one of my friends through a lot of forested areas here. And, it hurt me to see how many areas had been burnt out. I mean, I feel it. I feel it inside my body.
Well, it is intentional, and they're using lasers, and from those cell towers, they're able to send the microwaves and actually create these fires. So it's intentional. They want to disrupt California.
Absolutely. Because it's what I've been posting like crazy, directed energy weapons. How could you miss it? It's, years ago I got Judy Wood's book on 9/11, Where Did the Towers Go? And at that point, I had covered 9/11 for so many years, Monica, that I thought there was nothing new, okay? And her book was huge, okay? When I started looking through that giant book, it was like the size of an encyclopedia, and I saw all the photographs she had in that book. I said, where'd she get these pictures? Because I had never seen them before. And it's the same kind of destruction 10, 12 blocks away from the Trade Center that you see in California with the same, the cars all evaporated and melting and whatnot.
Yeah.
And she had, she said, I don't know what kind of weapon it was, but what I do know is it was an exotic weapon of some kind. And you look at that, when you can see it with your own eyes, like the videos of these fires in California, you would have to be deaf, dumb, and blind not to see how exact these certain buildings are hit, and all the foliage around them is still intact. The firefighters actually said they've never seen a fire like this. They've never fought a fire like this. And that's because they're fighting basically a chemical fire, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, absolutely. And did you ever watch Loose Change?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, I did.
Oh, my gosh.
Years ago, that movie, well, pardon us, audience, we will get to the other stuff we told you we were going to do. But it's interesting because,
Sorry.
I interviewed Jesse Ventura many times.
Okay.
And I remember when I first interviewed Jesse, he was first coming to light on 9/11. Like most people, he believed the official story. And what was interesting was it was his son that made him sit down and watch Loose Change.
Oh,
now,
interesting.
After he watched Loose Change, he was convinced it was an inside job.
And he did have a show called Conspiracy Theory, which was outstanding.
I thought it was pretty good.
I loved it. I loved it. In fact, our friend David Icke was on it.
Yeah, I know. I don't think the two of them got along, though. But that's
They did not, but they met twice. The first time was in New Mexico. The second time, Jesse went out to see where David was, somewhere in the north, I don't know, Indiana or wherever he was speaking. And that's when David walked out.
Well, yeah, I'm seeing Jesse posting a lot of stuff against this administration and whatnot. And, I remember asking him.
He's got his own YouTube channel
now. Why didn't he run for president? Run for president again. Anything be better than what we have.
Anyway. Oh, geez. Oh, okay. Off topic.
Off topic. Here we are now. We're going to go into the things that matter. And truthfully, none of this matters. Even when I get myself all upset, I have to remind myself, none of this matters, none of it's real.
Yeah, the key is not to react to it, but send love to it. Because that's the most powerful vibration ever, anywhere. Every galaxy, it's love that keeps everything together, cohesive and progressing. And when you think about 133 people calling the agenda, or whatever it is, 144, 133, whatever, and there's 7 billion of us, and when we're all in alignment with the vibration of love, we actually mix the agenda. So this is one of the reasons why I love doing your shows, because we talk about how to do it. Right. And I think today we have a different topic, though. What's our topic today?
Well, today's topic is, it's the holiday season, and whatever holiday they're celebrating, myself personally, I choose never to celebrate any of them. But whatever holiday they're celebrating, there's always bittersweet around the holidays.
Oh, yeah.
I know so many families, first of all, they dread seeing their own family. And then when they do get together, everything's all tense, and everybody's walking on eggshells.
Oh, we used to fight every Christmas. You know what? Right. My dad's birthday was on Christmas Eve, so that's why we used to celebrate. Oh. But he passed away. He would have been 90 this year, but he passed away 5 years ago. Right. But we still get together for the kids.
Right. Well, everybody says that. And you have people sitting around, and then all of a sudden somebody spontaneously start crying. Because of who's not there, okay? Who died, who's missing,
oh, no.
This and that. And this is
No, they're back home. They're fine.
I know. You know that.
That's
I know
selfish.
that. But there's always that melancholy, where people always think of Christmas past, or Hanukkah past, or,
No, we don't do that.
Kwanzaa,
we don't
whatever.
do that at all. No, we toast my dad, and then we party, and then we eat too much and drink too much, and everybody's merry, and then we open gifts and have our tamales like a good Mexican family.
Well, I can understand that. But there are also a lot of people, I'm starting to watch the posts on social media. A lot of people missing this person, Christmas without you, blah, 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 blah. Uh-huh. Is there a way that these people can realize or connect to the fact that these people are still around? I mean, is the holiday season an easier time for spirits to contact people?
Yes. Oh, what a great question. Absolutely. You can do it not even during the holidays, but any time. Because we have the ability, since we were told since we were an infant that we only use 10% of our brain. I think now they bumped it up to maybe 12. But that's because anytime you use insight, you're using a different part of the brain. And there's a part of the brain that allows us to reach into the fourth frequency, the fifth dimension, the sixth dimension, the seventh dimension. Seventh dimension and eighth dimension are more like Andromeda, extraterrestrials. But everybody has a bandwidth. Everyone has their own unique bandwidth. And those that have crossed over are not up there somewhere. That means a higher vibration, not a distance. People always say, oh, he's up in heaven, or he's up, No, wait a minute. There's no such thing in the first place. Up in heaven just means up a higher frequency. That's what it really meant. It didn't mean distance. So they're right here with you in the same room, but are in a higher frequency. Like as you and I are speaking right now, we've got thousands of bandwidths and frequencies that are crisscrossing our room right in front of us. We don't see them because they're in a different frequency. You can train yourself. I have lessons on YouTube, or I talk to people and show them lessons about how to connect to higher frequencies. In order to do that, Meria, step one is to get rid of density in our own frequency. And our frequency that keeps us from reaching higher frequencies are emotions. Our emotions keep us down. Einstein said, whatever it is that you want, raise your own vibrational frequency to match it exactly, and you shall have it. There is no other way, because life is energy, and that's all it is. And this is not philosophy. This is science. So when you look at that quotation, bingo, the key is to get rid of our own density, and that what keeps our density low are emotions from the past. So we have to get rid of those, and there's a way of doing it. There's a fantastic film. You can actually rent it online and watch it. It's called E-Motion, which stands for energy in motion. And when I went to Stonehenge, I asked, why is it that we have this? How come we can't raise our vibration? And I got the message, soon enough you will know. I come back home, I get this client from Australia who happens to be a producer and a director, and he's the one that made the film. I happened to counsel him. He goes, I'm going to send you a copy. He did, and I was like writing 5 pages of notes because it had all the answers I was looking for. You can rent it online. If you go e-motion.com or e-motion the film, you can either buy it on Amazon or rent it at the website, and it is going to be worth every $6 that you paid to rent it. You're going to want to buy it. So the clearing of the emotional center, which is the third chakra, especially with things from the past like grief and depression and feeling victimized and stuff. And believe me, a lot of people say, oh, I'd love to have your life. I said, are you freaking kidding me? Right. I said, there's no way. I said, I've been raped twice. I was held sequestered by an Iranian man. I had to escape. I said, I have gone through hell. You know, even being raised and the way I was treated and stuff, it was like, you don't want my life. You know what? Look at your own, go to the past and see if you have any resentments, any anger, any disappointments, and get rid of those emotions. And that film will show you exactly what to do. Mm-hmm. Once you clear out those emotions, it raises our frequency, and guess what? We start receiving information from those who we love the most. You start to, number one, feel them when they're around you, so acknowledge them and always talk to them. Secondly, you'll start to get little experiences because they love to play with us. They hide things, and then they tell us where to find them, and we automatically find them. Number three, we start to hear them telepathically, and that's the way I like to receive messages anyways, telepathically. So telepathically, what happens is they start to talk to us, and we're like at first thinking, wait a minute, it just seemed like I heard his voice or her voice. Okay. Every night, you sit down for 5 minutes, you visualize their face in front of you. I'm giving you a tool right now, you guys, so listen. You take 5 minutes, no more than 5 minutes. Visualize their face in front of you. Just tell them how much you love them. Thank you for coming and visiting you. But remember to make an appointment, because you just can't barge in on people. So earlier in the day, you say, okay, at 6 o'clock, I want to talk to you, and I'm going to be in my bedroom, so please join me. And then that's when you do the exchange, and you ask them simple questions. Simple. How are you? What's it like? Can you tell me who's with you? That kind of thing. And then write down the answers. Now, the first thing you're going to do is your skeptical left brain mind, which is logical and interferes. I call it the noise. It tells you that, oh, you're probably making up the answers, and just say, shut up. You know, I'm going to go to this right brain here, which has allowed me to receive. And then you're going to write down everything that you got. If you do this exercise for 30 days, 5 minutes a day, you're going to find that you'll be able to link into their bandwidth. That's what they are. You're connecting to their frequency. Like a television set picks up bandwidth, and a radio picks up bandwidth, megahertz or hertz, whatever they're called. Anyway, it's able to bring it into you. We are just like that, only we can connect to more dimensions than a television set or a radio.
Right.
So you do the exercise every day and start to visualize more. I have an exercise on YouTube called Creating Your Mental Laboratory. That's the one you should do. It's a good one.
What's your YouTube channel under? Is it just Monnica?
Yeah, just Monnica with 2 N's, Monnica. not .com, that's my website. Actually, my videos are on my website as well. But if you want to go to YouTube, just type in Monica Sepulveda with 2 N's, not one, and then you'll see my videos there. It's like lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3. These are shows that you and I did. We did them in London, Meria, which is when I first saw you, and I thought, I got to meet that woman.
And then we did.
And then we did. I had the courage. I was so nervous, but I thought, oh, she's not going to want to talk to me. You know, she's like this huge star, and she's got this radio show, and, you know, she's going, what does this woman want? You know, so I thought, nah, you know what? Get over your fears and send her an email. And you responded. I was thrilled.
Well, I'm not Oprah. I don't have a staff of 20,000 people helping me here. And you know what? It amazes me how many people get surprised when I personally write them or thank them.
Yeah,
but, I mean,
because
that's the way I was
demeanor,
raised.
Your personality and your demeanor, even by looking at your picture, comes across as a very powerful woman who's very self-reliant and is capable of doing so much. Well, all that's true. The thing is that when I got intimidated, when I saw, and I'm not the kind of person who gets intimidated very easily, but I even asked David, I was in London at the People's Voice studio, I said, I want to call her. I want to contact. He goes, well, do it. She's nice. And I said, okay, are you sure? And then even I waited a whole year. And then I finally contacted you, and I was shocked. She wrote me back.
Timing is everything, and here we are.
I know.
I did let my audience know that next month you and I are willing to do little mini reads for them.
Yes.
So they can send in their little questions or whatever they need, a little mini read. It's not going to be like all involved or super personal. I believe that your personal stuff is just that, personal.
It is. And the thing is that, you know, make sure that when you listen to the show, download it so you can remember your own reading, because a lot of times if you take notes, you're going to miss half of it. You know, Meria, and you and I both speak, it's a Latin trait. We speak very quickly and sometimes over each other.
Right.
And when I do readings, I have to record them because I talk too fast.
Oh, yeah, I record them if people want it. Some people don't want a recording, and that's okay.
And that's fine. And the thing is, I personally also would like their first name only and their birth date. If they don't have a question, if they can send their birth date, month, day, and year, and I will do a reading for them about what the year is going to be, about 2018. So they can have either way to do it with me.
That's quite cool. Well, either way works for me, you know. I never really saw a question I couldn't answer.
You know, I got to tell you this, because how people manifest it, crossed over, how they manifest their personalities. They're hilarious, too. They're having such a good time. I mourn my dad's passing, but I know that he's with his family and he's happy because he's back home again, right? But my dad used to be the kind of person that was really, he was generous, but yet at the same time he protected his money. He was always making sure he'd count it to make sure nobody took any, right?
Right.
So what he did, and if he saw my mom's money, she left it out, he would take it, you know? He's Capricorn. He was so funny. So what he did one year is that after he passed, 3 months later, we all gave my mom some cash, and she put it in an envelope, and then she couldn't find it. It was like, she says, I put it right there on the coffee table. And so we had to go through all our trash bags, go through everything to try to find her envelope. And after we were all finished, all of a sudden the envelope appears right there.
Right.
It was not covered. It just appeared. And we looked at each other. We said, that was Daddy was trying to take Mom's money.
Absolutely. You know, listen, when people tell me that happens, you know, on a regular basis, whether it's money, keys, whatever. Mm-hmm. And I just tell them, you just have some playful spirits around. You know, let it go. Stop looking for it. When they get tired of the game, it'll just show up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my gosh. There's been so many things that happen, you know, and I love it. I like to play even with extraterrestrials because they do funny stuff in my home, you know, which I'm like, oh, yeah, that's cool. Do it again. But with loved ones, you know, we don't have to mourn their passing. We want to hug them again, but the best way to get a hug from them is that we have to leave our bodies when we're sleeping and go into their frequency, because that's how we can then connect with them, and you can actually feel them and touch them and give them hugs and stuff. But for them to lower their frequency to come into this planet, they don't really like to do it that much.
Who blames
So you have to use your senses.
Who blames them? But I find that the dream state is the easiest place to connect.
Yeah.
You know,
it is.
And I often think about, you know, what a lot of tribes, you know, in the United States say, that, you know, this is the dream. And that's the reality, is when you're out of body.
That's absolutely true.
And I have no argument with that, but it's like, man, this is one dream that doesn't seem to end. It's like Groundhog Day.
Well, it really is. It is like it's a place where if we don't learn lessons from it, we're doomed to repeat them. So that's where that comes in.
Right.
And so every single thing that happens in my life, I don't play victim to it. I always say, what's my lesson? Where do I need to change? Because I realize that the outside manifestation of our reality and experiences is the sum total of our thoughts. And when it's broadcasting back to us an experience that we don't like, that it's just simply trying to say you need to make an adjustment on the inside. That's it. Mm-hmm. And that's our responsibility to adjust our thoughts, our belief systems, and to get rid of that old density. And when we do that, watch what changes. It changes so fast. Within like 1 to 2 days, you have a different experience. That's what's loving about the earth, is that it gives back to us where we need to make. It's a teacher, and it gives back to us what it manifested so we can change whatever we were thinking. I try to tell this stuff to kids as well. If you made a decision and you didn't get what you want, don't think that you're the mistake or that there's something wrong with you. It's just telling you that the choice that you made didn't give you what you needed, so just make a new one.
Right. Hey, wasn't that, you remember that famous country song? I think it was Garth Brooks. I think it was Thank God for Unanswered Prayers. And
oh yeah, but some people don't understand what that means.
All right, I know. They think it's just a song. Anyway, we did get a note from one of our listeners. She loved our show last month on dreams. And for new listeners, you can always go into the archives and listen to all our shows. Just put Monica's name in the search bar, or put in Awaken with Meria or Monnica. She said, I really enjoyed the show. And she had a question for us. She said her brother committed suicide in September. His name was Mike. She says, I've seen him a few times in spirit form and communicated with him. But last night I had a dream with him in it. Something happened and he gave me a shove. She said, I could feel it. It was so real. He was trying to get my attention, tell me something, not hurt me. I don't know what it was. Can you help me?
Yeah, absolutely. He's letting her know that, maybe there's some place in her life where she doesn't really understand that life there where he is and his frequency is no different than life here, and that love transcends all things. The fact that she was joking with her and he shoved her lets her know, look, I can still touch you. We can still embrace, we can still connect with each other. And my feeling is that this is not a warning, because I'm not getting any negative connection to it at all whatsoever. Mm-hmm. I'm getting a positive connection, like, I'm here, see, I'm here. I felt that before. I've been poked. And I'm like, okay, stop it. I need to sleep. Remember sleep? When you were on this planet, we had to sleep? Okay, I have to sleep. But thanks for visiting me. Next time, make it during the day. I joke back with them. I think that with her situation, I think because a lot of people have this false information that when you commit suicide, you're somehow going to be damned for the rest of your existence and you're going to hell because you ended your life. You can't end life. You can end the body, but you can't end life. Life continues, and a lot of people ignore their spirit, which is, this is who we are. We're a spirit with a body, a mind, and emotions, but we have those bodies and emotions, and the body, it leaves this planet. But we continue to exist and to live. And he's letting her know, just because I took my life, it's something I chose to do because I couldn't get accustomed to being on this planet. I needed to go. And now he's letting her know that his personality is back, that he's having fun, he's joking, and he wanted to let her know how much he loves her. So when he poked her, it's just like when they were kids. This is what he's telling me right now. Just like when we were kids, I used to, play like a prankster.
Right.
That kind of thing.
Right.
So his personality is definitely around, and he was just there trying to get her attention. Hi, it's me, and so I'm feeling that it was a very loving gesture, and he was coming from and he was coming from their childhood.
Right. Well, I get a little info on this too, and you and I work very differently, and the information we give people is sometimes the same, but sometimes coming from a different space. We'll call it that. Yeah. But when I'm looking at this and looking at her dream, generally people in your dream are also representative of sides of yourself. And what I'm seeing here is a shove to move forward. Let go of the past, move forward. Okay,
Yeah.
let go of your criteria for what you think happiness is and open yourself up to new people and new experiences.
Yeah, that totally makes sense to me. When it's a visitation from a family member, I don't interpret it that way, but you can, because why not?
Well, there's so many layers to every dream. I mean, I've done dream work for so long. I mean, there's a million layers to every dream. You know, some days I could spend the whole day just trying to figure out the dream from the night before. But I also see that, you know, he acknowledges how sad she is over losing him. But he's not the only loss that she's had, because I'm being shown 3 that really hurt her emotionally. But he still says, I've got your back.
Yeah, he definitely does. And for me, the only change about dreams is that to me was a visitation within a dream.
Right.
But see, I don't like the word dream because it's misleading. You're actually learning stuff, and when people come into your dream, they do represent a part of you. They have a message, but when you actually have a visitation where they're actually touching you, that's where I separate it. But I love your interpretation of it, because that makes a lot of sense as well too. I just want her to know that, you know, he's around a lot more than she thinks. That just because he ended his life doesn't mean that he's not happy and that he's not in hell or something. He's existing.
Right.
I think that when they cross over, they're trying to teach us the truth about what's it's like, because we've been indoctrinated by this so-called thing called religion, which has been the biggest destroyer and the worst thing that could have happened to mankind. And for those of you who have religion, sorry about this. This is just my opinion. I feel that religion was the one that caused the most pain, torturing people, murdering people to believe just like they do. They were probably worse than the terrorists that exist today.
Right. Oh, they are the terrorists, the American Taliban. Anyway, we're going to take a short break. Stay with us. Monica and I will be right back. It's the holiday season, a season of giving. Well, this holiday season, give a gift that lasts all year, the gift of knowledge. Consider gifting everyone you know a subscription to my show right here at Meria.net. It's not just news. There's loads of spiritual, environmental knowledge, as well as tips on being as healthy as you can be. You may also consider giving yourself or someone else a private consultation with me. I love giving people the proper direction for their life based on their own blueprint prior to arriving here. Just send me an email with the name of the person receiving either the consult or subscription you paid for, and I'll set it all up with a note with who the gift is from. What better time than now to give the gift of knowledge? Sunbear used to say taking in knowledge for the sake of taking in knowledge is a waste of time, and that knowledge only becomes wisdom when it's shared. Now, back to today's show. Hi, this is Maria Heller. If you're enjoying this show, please consider listening to the rest of it, along with hundreds of other hours of education, by a small subscription on my site. Get over to Meria.net, Meria.net. You are the only thing that supports this show. There's no corporate control, and there's plenty of education on site. So please consider either a subscription or a donation to keep the work going. There are too many alternative voices out there that are being silenced because of lack of support. So if you don't want MSM to be the only mind-controlling news out there, please consider supporting the people that support you and help us all save something for the future for our children. Thank you so much.